big-time cruiserweight action coming up here, folks. It's Tony Mamaluke from NWA Wildside, a former IPW competitor, former ECW Tag Team Champion, taking on the Florida Unified Cruiserweight Champion, 5-time champion here in IPW now, Jet Jaguar.
This would be a main event at any of the independents in the entire country. The cruiserweights are getting taken to a new level. They are in the spotlight all over the world right now. The big so-called independent groups, they might get lost when it comes to that. The so-called major corporations in wrestling, they don't want to acknowledge the little guys. I'm here to tell you that people like Tony Mamaluke, Jet Jaguar, unfortunately AJ Styles from NWA Wildside, Naftali and Jimmy Rave, these guys are some of the best talent in the business. And if I wasn't sitting here enjoying the sweet, savory flavor of a chicken sandwich from Extra Innings Ballpark Cafe at 1850 Central Avenue, St. Pete, I'd be even more upset about it.
Actually, Ron, if you weren't enjoying that chicken, you'd probably be on the phone calling Able Body Temp Service at 727-771-1111.
Well, at least you got the number right this week. We had to get a call from Able Body's corporate office complaining about you.
What?
Actually, why don't I call that number, 727-771-1111, and see if they hire any wrestling commentators out?
Ron, after I come out here week after week with all my injuries and still act like a professional, and for you to insult me like that, I just can't believe it.
These two Malenko trade students throwing double knife-edge chops, European uppercuts, basically taking it to each other. They came through just like we said with Rod Steele and Sejanaki earlier, coming through. Oh my God,
man.
What a vicious suplex. Both of these two wrestlers were trained by the one Dean Malenko at Malenko's wrestling camp. In the exact same class, you had Tony Mamaluke, Jet Jaguar, the Shane brothers, Jeremy Lopez, and Chad Collier, who wrestles all over the entire world. And these are some of the best independent talents and some of the most popular and best-known independent talents in the world right now. You got these two vying now for the Florida Unified Cruiserweight title. And I don't know, Tony Mamaluke, he's known for all these high-risk, death-defying maneuvers. Everybody all over the internet is tearing him apart for the fact that he's going to end up breaking his neck someday. But you see, Aaron, you see with your own eyes the talent this kid got, the mat wrestling. And luckily for us with this type of match, we have the best insurance in Tampa.
Pest insurance.
That's right.
I let you get your line in again, Ron, so be happy. Tony Mamaluke, as good as he was when he was down here in IPW before, has improved by leaps and bounds. His physique is much, much improved. He's getting some more size to him. Obviously still a cruiserweight, but this guy was probably 130 pounds soaking wet when he was here before. Jet Jaguar's never seen this Tony Mamaluke, but he's got the big claw on him that he usually uses at all of the so-called what do you want to call them, the women bars here in the Tampa Bay area, but right now he's got it on Tony Mamaluke's head.
Jet Jaguar the other night, I call him just to see how the kid's doing. We've been up and we've been down, but I want to make sure that this IPW Cruiserweight title is protected. And I called to see how he's doing, and he's busy watching a match between Baron Von Raschke and Jerry Blackwell from old 1984 EWA wrestling tapes, and you see that type of research, that type of wrestling knowledge enables somebody to put the claw on out of nowhere. The iron claw, as Fritz von Erich used to refer to it, applied, and now he goes into a, what do you call that, a camel clutch.
That's a camel clutch there on Tony Mamaluke by Jet Jaguar. I don't think Tony Mamaluke's going to submit here, but it might cost him the match later on, weakening his back and shoulder muscles. Right there with the move by Jet Jaguar. Gentleman Jim Bragg trying to check to see if there's a submission, but there's no submission from Tony Mamaluke.
Now, Jet Jaguar, the filthy swine, the most repulsive individual in IPW, can be heard quite often on, what's it called, the steel cage?
The steel cage, Ron, on 10 a.m., 11 a.m., each and every Saturday. And sometimes they even got that hardcore giant guy on there.
That cowhead Putz and Ashe Chin are calling me every week, begging me to come on and save their show, because usually they got Nick Bockwinkel up there, or maybe Bugsy McGraw or somebody else who's not quite as eloquent as the hardcore giant Ron Niemi, who can drop in great wrestling references and pop culture references. I'm the type of guy that could talk about Silver Spoons and the Fantastics in the same sentence.
Ron, only you could talk about Silver Spoons and the Fantastics in the same sentence. Big elbow right to the head of Tony Mamaluke by Jet Jaguar. He was having some trouble earlier in this match, but IPW's own Jet Jaguar taking full control at this time.
Now, Jet Jaguar has been banned from, what did you call them, the women bars? I call them the titty bars. Get it straight. The strip joints.
I'm sorry, I forgot we were on at 2 a.m.
Yeah, you could get away with that type of stuff. Now, you're too busy hanging out at the Velvet Spike with Shannon Rose, but Jet Jaguar has been banned from all the adult entertainment establishments throughout Florida because of his repulsive behavior. He comes in there with about $201 bills. Huge! Throws them off of there. What do you call that?
That was a push him off the top rope deal.
That was what they called the Mamaluke throw him down.
The Mamaluke throw him down. Okay. Commentary is only Ron Niemi can bring you here on IPW Weekly Recap. But more serious matters at hand here as Jet Jaguar is not only trying to keep his title, but he's trying to keep it for the good of IPW, going up against this NWA Wildside competitor. Sit down here basically as a bounty hunter by one Bill Behrens. Well, you're going to have to send a lot more than one guy down here, Bill Behrens, to take out IPW.
Now, Bill Behrens and NWA Wildside have decided to jump on the IPW hardcore wrestling bandwagon. Sure, they started some bloody and violent feud. All they're doing is trying to steal our heat and trying to steal the rolling train that they call IPW. You got Shannon Rose on Pro Wrestling Weekly every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on 10:40 a.m. right here in Florida, and he's got people like Bill Behrens.
Oh, nice pile driver by Jet Jaguar. That move used to be banned down here in Florida, but after Jerry Lawler went and complained after he pile drove Kerry Von Erich and lost the match by DQ and didn't get that world-class title to put with his AWA title, and he went to the board of directors in Florida, and they finally changed that ruling.
You settled down already? My God, next thing you know, you'll be bringing up Coach John Heath and everybody else that nobody cares about. Jerry the King
Makan Singh?
What?
Makan Singh?
Well, just see, if you're going to talk about the great Asians that ever came through Florida Championship Wrestling, you got to talk about Bad News Allen.
Bad News Allen was one bad man down here, held the Southern and Florida titles at the same time. That was an unheard of feat down here. Not even Jesse Barr did that.
It was not only unheard of, but he was the only man that could refer to two guys as Barry Windlass and Lex Luger, two beer belly sharecroppers.
That's true. He had memorable feuds down here with Kevin Sullivan and everybody else. But if you don't stop me right now, Ron, I could talk about old Florida wrestling forever. But right now I want to talk about that big missed flying body press there by Tony Mamaluke, and he's holding his gut. It looks like that hurt him quite a bit, and hopefully Jet Jaguar could take advantage right here.
Gentleman Jim Bragg down for the 2.5 count, and you got to give the gentleman credit with that horrible problem he's had with the constipation going on for weeks now. For him to come in here.
Oh, beautiful powerbomb by Jet Jaguar. Not to cut you off there, Ron, but that is what I've been doing lately. So I guess it's nice just to keep it going.
Now I'm sitting here trying to get over the fact that Jim Bragg has a horrible medical condition and hasn't defecated in over 2 weeks. But he took just one shot of KO Pectate, comes in the ring, and he's right there for another 2.5 count.
And look at this. David Young, one half of the former 5-time NWA Tag Team Champions. Bad Attitude comes in the ring. He's also from NWA Wildside, and he comes in and just starts tearing apart Jet Jaguar. Two guys from Wildside now on Jet Jaguar.
David Young is probably one of the toughest wrestlers in the business. Excellent technical mat wrestler, but also one of the most violent, sickest hardcore wrestlers in the country right now. He's engaged in some of the most bloody and violent matches with New Jack and Wildside ever seen.
That was sick stuff, Ron Niemi.
And now he comes in and decides to lay the boots to Jet Jaguar.
And Tony Mamaluke taking exception. He is from NWA Wildside, but he has a lot of respect for Jet Jaguar. He wanted to win this title legitimately. And the two NWA Wildside guys, we love to see this, Ron. Two Wildside guys going at it.
How come the NWA contingent? Wow!
Oh!
What do you even call that? What is that, a reverse atomic drop into a spine buster? I've never seen it before. David Young, like I said.
And he's spitting all over the ring like he's got skull stuck down in his mouth. I'm sure he does, being up there from Hicksville at Wildside. But he's tearing apart both these cruiserweights right now. David Young, one of the toughest individuals in wrestling. But when Jet Jaguar and Tony Mamaluke finally recover from this, I think he's going to have hell to pay.
David Young might come in here and spit on Mamaluke, and he might spit on Jet. But basically who he's spitting on is IPW Hardcore Wrestling. And he might have a plug of tobacco in his lip. But that ain't going to cut it here.
No, it's not, Ron, but look at this guy still continuing to take out two very, very top wrestlers, two of the top cruiserweights in the business. Granted, he did it on Jet Jaguar from behind, and he did it after they've been going at each other for over 20 minutes. But nonetheless, this guy's about to clean house in the ring. Gentleman Jim Bragg, especially in his condition, doesn't even want to get in the ring.
Jim Bragg, what I have a problem with, sits there and watches this.
Here comes chaos, Ron. We all saw what happened as he got torn apart by Bill Behrens and that tennis racket in the cage.
What the hell's he doing?
He goes, once again, this guy's becoming a bigger turncoat than Lex Luger during his whole career. These two guys giving the high forearms. That's the former chaotic cult sign. I'm not sure if this is a sign of things to come or what, Ron, but now you got two of the most brutal individuals in all of independent wrestling tearing up two guys half their size just for the sheer mayhem of it all.
Chaos obviously isn't happy with the situation
Look at
IPW
that.
Hardcore.
Shades of the Sheik there as he's biting the head of Jet Jaguar.
First he's hanging out with Howard Brody, now Bill Behrens. What's wrong with Chaos? What do we got to do to prove to this guy IPW Hardcore Wrestling is where it's at? He's turned on us more times than I even care to admit.
I don't know, but hanging out with guys like Howard Brody and Bill Behrens, you got to wonder whether that leather is really about a biker bar or something else altogether. And there you see Shannon Rose just sitting there dumbfounded like he usually does. Hey, Shannon, don't go get any help for these guys or anything. Just sit there and get some material for your website, you moron.
Shannon, please, whatever you do, don't get any help, and even worse yet, don't you dare go in there and actually fight like a man. Stand there and see, there's Jim Brett. A man. Stand there and see, there's Jim Brett. He wouldn't be getting choked down
doing
like
his
this.
best Nick Patrick as he's sitting there getting into the action, getting choked out by Chaos. Tony Mamaluke able to rescue Jet Jaguar there from the ring. You saw they came in as opponents, but these two just got a brutal beatdown from David Young and Chaos, and they're just trying to get out of the ring, help each other to the back, and recoup for another day.
I hate to say it, but after Jim Bragg was choked and attacked by Chaos like that, he no longer is suffering from that medical condition.
Well, Ron, I thought there was something amiss in the air that night, but I was back in the back room doing the play-by-play. I didn't know for sure. And Tony Mamaluke and Jet Jaguar crawling back into the ring. It looks like they might want to finish their match, but there's no way after that beating. And there you see those two guys. They're enemies, but at the same time, they have a lot of respect for each other. And we're coming down to the end of this week, Ron Niemi. I want to finish up the show with you, but my neck's really hurt, and I got to go take some ibuprofen. So I'm going to leave the rest of the show to you, Ron, right now.
That was just another week of IPW Hardcore Wrestling recap. I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. You used to have the best ladder match in the history of wrestling. Now the Hardcore Giant and Acropolis hold that distinction. Right here in IPW Hardcore Wrestling, Saturday night, November 24th at the WrestlePlex, you're going to see some of the best wrestling action in the entire world. AJ Styles and Scoot Andrews will meet for the IPW Heavyweight title. Next week, IPW Hardcore Wrestling recap. I hope Aaron Royal can make it back.